Welcome back to iPadFest 2015. I have another special guest. This is Millie Edwards from Mossy Creek Elementary, right here in White County, right down the street. And we're glad she's with us. Before she shows us some of her wonderful things that she does with her iPad, I just want to thank you so much for tuning in. Some of you may have just came in, and if you like what you're seeing, or even if you don't, just hashtag it iPadFest or PadFest, either one, and you can email me at bbuffington@pioneerresa.org if you'd like to get a recording of this. I'll get you registered, and so you can get those later. I'm going to segment it. It's going to be nice. And after Millie, we're going to do lunch break for us. So I have a group of teachers here. We're having a great time, and we're going to get stretched and probably turn the music real loud and crank it up, and then we'll come back and do some more training. So, hey, Millie, tell me about Mossy Creek Elementary.
Oh, it's a great place.
It's a great place?
It's a great place.
Okay.
Southern part of White County, close to the Hall County line.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And what do you teach?
I teach math, science, and writing. Used to teach at the middle school years ago. My career kind of has two parts to it, and I taught math and science at the middle school in the 90s, and then took a little break, and I'm back. This is my 5th year back.
So the 90s, were those big CDs in the 90s? Were the Laserdisc? Was that the 90s?
Yeah, floppies.
Floppies. I remember floppies.
Yeah.
1.44 megabytes.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, things have changed.
Things have changed. Do you think your middle grades background gives you a little, maybe a little advantage to 4th and 5th grade math science?
Yes, I love content. I love and my presentation is more content-based today.
Oh, that's cool.
I know you've seen a lot of other kind of management, creative things, but this is more content-based.
People out there, they want a variety. And what's great about today's session, they actually get to see real teachers. That's what I told them, real teachers, just out of the classroom for the day. They got to go back tomorrow. They got to go back. No,
not tomorrow.
Sorry, it's Friday.
I get tomorrow
Monday
off too.
Yeah, she doesn't. Maybe she'll work a little bit. She has to go back Monday.
Right.
So it's just real neat. Some authentic people here today.
Yeah.
Well, Millie, go ahead. Tell everybody what you got.
Okay. This presentation is on 5th grade earth science, and I could teach 5th grade earth science just using these apps. Okay.
Wow.
So, all right. Hold on. Here we go. And they can see this?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So Millie's actually has a PowerPoint,
Yes.
and she'll be mirroring her iPad as well.
All sorts of things.
Just make sure you tell everybody so our guy can change it.
Okay, all right. When you start, okay, 5th grade earth science, it's basically on constructive and destructive forces. Okay, we got to talk about volcanoes and earthquakes. And in my opinion, you can't understand a volcano or an earthquake or a tsunami unless you understand about tectonic plates. So that's where we have to start. Okay?
I agree.
So you have to start with tectonic plates. So I love the app Puzzling Plates. Okay? And on Puzzling Plates, got some little screenshots here. Also on my iPad, you start out with all of the plates.
Wow.
And the kids have to put them together. Okay? So this is a great introduction. Let's say I tell them to start with the Pacific plate. They try to get it lined up. When you get it lined up, it should, anyway, it'll click into place.
Okay.
Okay? I think I got that. Anyway, that's close.
It's close.
So they put all the plates together, and they see where all the boundaries are, and that's important as we get to the earthquake and the volcano. And if you look on the PowerPoint, you see the completed diagram.
All right. Do they get to see that too, or they have to get there?
They have to do it. I mean, they have to take the pieces and put them together.
Okay.
Okay, and once you put it together, it looks like the image on the right. Okay?
Okay.
All right. When you know where the boundaries are, then you can start looking at earthquakes and volcanoes. And what is so neat is that all the earthquakes and volcanoes are where those plates lined up that you just put together on the last app. Okay? All right, on this app, we're going to another part of Puzzling Plates.
Okay, so it's another part of the app?
Another part of the app, Puzzling Plates, and you actually swipe. You see those? You actually swipe your finger over the edges.
Okay.
And it will show you where all of the volcanoes are in the world.
So you're hunting. It's actually kind
You're
of a
hunting.
hunt. You're hunting
It's
for all
a
of
hunt,
it.
right.
Okay.
And look where they all are.
Right.
They're
Well,
right there on those plate boundaries.
well, I got to stop for just one second.
Okay.
Just say, we have some folks who they heard the word science, they just tuned out. I mean, because science is people have a hard time grasping
I
science.
would tune in.
You would
if
tune in.
someone said science.
But let me
Yeah.
tell you, all our students in the state of Georgia, they have to know this stuff. And I remember when I had to learn about this,
Yeah.
it was not like this. There was like a piece of paper in a book, and it was turned to page 165 and answer the questions. And it had nothing to do with this. And this is amazing.
It's amazing.
I'm going to play with this.
Okay, you will like this.
Okay.
Okay, I've identified a few of the volcanoes. I didn't do a very good job.
You did fine.
All right, but now I'm going to identify where all the earthquakes are. So I'm going to take
Okay.
my yellow and Brian,
That is neat.
where are all the earthquakes?
I think they're on fault lines too.
They're on the fault lines. That's right, plate boundaries. And it even indicates the yellow ones are less severe and the blue ones are really strong
Okay.
areas. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Other apps that I like to use at this point for volcanoes and earthquakes are the Volcanos app, okay, and the Quake feed app.
Okay.
Now, my Volcanos app gives you current information as of right now.
So we need Wi-Fi, right?
Yes, you do have to have Wi-Fi for these.
And Millie, go ahead and talk about costs of the apps, if they are all paid or if some of them are free, just so people can know in the audience.
The Volcanos and the Quake app are free. You can do some upgrades. I've done some upgrades on my personal iPad
Okay.
just to make things better for demonstration.
But students are using the free version?
Yes, and it's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
that's all they need.
All right.
That's all they need. Okay, so here are the volcanoes,
Mhm.
the ones that are active as of right now. Okay, and look where all the volcanoes are, Brian. Whoops, they're
Wow.
coming up. Where are they all located?
They're on the
They're
boundaries.
on the plate boundaries, except for good old Hawaii,
It's
which
just,
is out in the middle of nowhere. It's actually a hot spot.
I was going to ask
Yeah,
you, why
it's
is
a hot
that?
spot.
Okay.
It's kind of fun to talk about Hawaii because it's not on a plate boundary.
It's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, but they learn that.
Yeah.
They know that. Okay, the other one is Quake feed. Okay, and it will go off in the classroom. We'll be having class and
No
then,
way.
Yes, and then the whole trays of iPads that I have in my room, a little alarm will go off. And my children know that an earthquake has happened somewhere. And we find it. And we're not even on earthquakes yet.
So there they are. They're doing their spelling words, and all of a sudden it's like
Not spelling, math and
math and you know what I mean. They're
no spelling.
no spelling.
No
That's not
spelling.
important. What they're doing something in the room, and and all of a sudden just the whole iPad card just
Yeah, they
freaks
all go
out.
off. They all go off.
What do the kids do?
They go, oh, there's been an earthquake. They do.
Man, that is so cool.
And you get excited, but then you remember that you really should.
We should not get excited.
Should not get excited.
We should not
'Cause
be excited.
It could be something bad.
Yes.
You know.
But I mean, so when that happens, what's your procedure when the iPads go off?
I go grab an iPad and pull it up and see where it is. And the last one was in Alaska. That was unusual.
Okay.
Along that strip of islands. Okay.
Oh my.
All right,
Oh
okay.
my.
All
Wow,
right,
this is
look.
great.
Can
Okay.
you see?
Yeah.
Okay. Look. Okay. See the 6.9? That's pretty strong.
Okay.
Okay? It happened 2 days ago. That's how current this information is.
Man.
Okay? And, of course, Brian. Whoops. It's not.
Of course,
loaded.
Brian.
Of course, Brian. Where are all the earthquakes?
I think they're happening on these
They're on
boundaries.
plate boundaries.
Okay.
Yeah, so kids know that. Plate boundaries are key.
Yes.
Okay, so now that you know what happens on the plate boundaries, you've got to know the different kinds of plate boundaries because different things happen on different kinds of plate boundaries.
Okay. And
Okay.
how long does this unit usually take on plate boundaries and volcanoes?
All spring.
Okay. Right.
It does.
And you're able to use apps
Yes.
to do most of this.
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my puzzling plates, and then we're going to go to the third level, And it shows the plate boundaries again.
Okay.
And you have to put in the type of boundary. Because, see, not all boundaries are the same.
Mm-mm.
Some of them are moving apart, and that's called a divergent boundary, okay? Some of them do this, okay? Can you do this?
The slip slide.
Yes.
This.
That's like, and that's where earthquakes happen. It's called a convergent boundary.
Okay, convergent.
Yeah, it moves, and it gets stuck, and it slips, and then you have earthquake.
Okay.
Like that,
Mhm.
okay? Divergent, moving apart. That's like the one in the mid-Atlantic ridge.
Yeah.
That's out in the middle
That's
of
the
the
deep-
Atlantic Ocean.
The really deep trench there.
Well,
Maybe
no,
I'm misled. Okay.
no, it's
Well, I'll let her.
building
She's the
up.
expert. I'll let her
It's
talk.
building up, and then you know what? I was wrong. It's the transform boundaries that are slipping.
Okay.
And converging are the ones that come together.
Okay. They
Okay,
collide.
So the kids have to, yes, when it collides, two land collide, it makes a mountain, like Mount Everest.
Yes.
Okay, but when it's an ocean and land, okay, the ocean goes under because it's more dense.
Yes.
You get a mountain, and you get volcano
Yeah.
too, and then that's where you get your trench.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Like
So,
again, like when I was in school, I don't know any of this because
I know you should have.
I should have had your
You
class
should have
with
been in my
these cool
class.
apps.
Yeah, we could still arrange that. You know,
I'd love
you could
to.
come and visit. All right, so you have to. Like, I know that the mid-Atlantic ridge is a divergent. It's moving apart. So see, it
Right.
fits right there, and it tells me. And then everything turns red.
So students are assessing whether or not
Right.
they know this or
well,
not.
and at this point, it's not even an assessment.
This is just
It's
they're inquiring.
let's find out where it is. Okay, I know here right above India, that's where Mount Everest is.
Mhm.
So I know that those are converging. You know, Mount Everest is getting
Yeah.
taller every year.
That's right.
Do you know that?
Mhm.
Okay, out here in California, that's the San Andreas Fault, and I know that it is a transform. Okay, it slips past each other, and there it is. Okay, am I talking too much?
No, you're talking just right.
Am I good?
You're speaking my
Okay.
language.
Okay, good. All right. So those are the different types of boundaries, which is
Mhm.
important because you know what things you're more likely to find different
Okay.
places. Okay. The other apps that I told you about, the Volcanos app and the Quake Feed app, will also show you in their settings the different types of plate boundaries.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I can't get to this, to what's on my PowerPoint. I can't get to it unless I were to finish this. But there's
Took some screenshots.
yeah, but there's a bonus round, and those are also plate boundaries, and they tell you, you can actually see what happens at those boundaries. One of them, you build mountains.
Mhm.
One of them, you can do the transform where they slip.
Mhm.
So it's just more hands-on type stuff for the kids to see what happens at
I
those
have
boundaries.
yet to see a teacher with content apps because the iPad is a great creative tool, but
It
we
is.
can consume information too. It's fine.
Yes.
But these are content specific
Yes.
apps.
Yeah,
and
and it
that-
gets better too. It does.
Can it get better? I mean, let's do it. Let's go. Let's see what else you got.
Okay. So once you've seen all this,
Mhm.
okay, you know where it is.
All right.
Okay, and those are the other apps that show you. Okay, then comes the good part. You get to go actually see what it looks like there,
Okay.
and that is Google Earth.
Oh, that's great.
I
That is
love-
free. I know that's free.
Yes, wonderful, wonderful. This is what my kids do for reward. They go, "Oh, Miss Edwards, can we get on Google
Could-
Earth?" They
Could you
do.
imagine? They're like, I want to play on Google Earth.
Yes,
I will
they
be
do.
good in your class.
They do. I'll make 100 on the quiz,
Mhm.
so I can go get on Google Earth. Okay, so here we go. All right, constructive force, volcanoes. So let's go look and see something that was built with a volcano. So let's go to Hawaii.
Let's go.
See,
Like
we're
right
flying-
now,
we're
I'd love to go
flying
there.
We're going there.
hmm
Okay, and you know Hawaii's a string of islands built by volcanoes.
That's right.
Okay, so I'm going to go all the way down here to Kauai because it is actually one of the oldest islands. Okay, no longer active volcanoes or anything
Okay.
like that. And then you can see where the volcano deposited the lava, and that's what formed the island.
Mhm.
And then what's so fun, and my kids call this the little man.
I know the little man.
We call it the little man. And if I get close enough, he comes up. It's this little man.
Okay.
And you can go and find street scenes and get close-ups of what you want to see. And so if you'll look there, that is actually from Google Earth. We found a street scene.
And we're looking at the PowerPoint, by the way. We're looking
Right.
here. Yeah.
Yes, that you can go, and they are hard to find, though. And so on my lesson plan, I put some things you can put in. To find a good street scene, you have to hunt. But that is the Hawaii's Grand Canyon,
Man.
which is really not a canyon. It's just made from lava. Okay? Okay? All right. So
We're there. We're there in Hawaii.
yes, yeah, you can fly, and it's like you're flying. Okay, now, volcanoes are constructive and destruction.
There's lots of destruction. It's
I know.
all bad.
All right.
Now, I do want to say this. I bet people back there are just crazy going over this. Our other presenters.
They look like it.
They should. I mean, this is wild. I would be the little man right now looking at these
Looking at
street scenes.
everything.
Everything.
And you know what everybody does the first time? They go and look at their house. That's scary.
Yeah, it is. Everybody
It
can
is
find out
scary.
where you are.
You can find out your house. Okay, as a kid, I read this book, Hill of Fire.
I've never read it.
Familiar? Hill of Fire. And I was like, that's neat. It's a story about a volcano that grows in a farmer's yard in Mexico.
Okay.
And it's a great story. That's so neat. But it's true. And it happened in the 40s, like in the 1940s. So earth science you think of as ancient history, but it's not always
Let's
ancient
make it current.
history.
Let's make it
Yes.
current. And
Okay.
so you're bringing literature into science.
Yes, I do. We do. We do. And the mountain, can you pronounce it? Peruquitan?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. You put it into Google Earth, and it will take you right there. And see that volcano right there?
Okay.
That used to be the farmer's yard, the farmer's field. The farmer's field.
No more.
No more. It's a volcano right now. Okay? Covered the whole town. And if you put in the right search, which I have written down, I'm sure everybody will get these lesson plans, you can get the church. That the steeple is the only thing that's still above the lava.
I'm sold. I mean,
yeah, you need to go see it.
I'm
And
engaged.
the kids
I'm sold.
Can pull it up because that would be a destructive. A volcano would be destructive in that way if it
Yes.
covered up the church. Okay.
yes.
All right. Keep going.
Keep going.
Keep going. All right.
Lunch. I got lunch at noon. We got some
All
time.
right. You'll tell me what time
Sure.
it is. All right. Earthquakes and tsunamis. Do you know what a tsunami is, Brian?
A tsunami is when there's something going on at the boundaries and it creates a wave.
That's right. All right.
Okay.
All right. A tsunami is an earthquake that happens out in the middle of the ocean and it creates a wave. Okay? So, we talk about earthquakes being a destructive force. And one thing that we can bring up is the earthquake and tsunami that happened in Japan,
Yes.
okay, which was tragic and caused a lot of damage. Well, you can still see the damage, okay? It's still, the Google Earth images have not updated enough lately, or the destruction is still
Has been
there.
repaired.
Okay, there it is. That is the nuclear plant. You can still see a lot of the destruction.
Okay.
From the accident and from the tsunami, and street scene. Okay, and now I can't read Japanese, but it looks like there's some warning signs.
It said close the road.
Right. Okay, so you could get those kind of images if you were going to visit that nuclear power plant.
So do students in your class, they just know that Google Earth is not just something we use for one activity. They know that as they're doing things throughout the year, they're like, hey, Google Earth would help us maybe look at this.
Oh, right.
It's a tool.
Right, and I think I would use Google Earth just as much if I taught social studies. Because whatever you talk about, you can go see it. You can go look at it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's incredible tool. Okay. All right, okay, and this is Sendai, Japan, also where the tsunami hit. And you can see
I can see it's just leveled. at
it's
the top.
just leveled. And then I also found street scenes of some homes being built back. And you can actually see how in Japan, how they build things. They're a little more, can you see?
Yeah,
the
I can see it. Yeah,
compartments?
I can see the compartments
Okay.
now.
All right. All right. Fault. We can see a fault, plate boundary in California. Search engine for Google Earth. I put it.
You just typed it in San
I
Andreas
just
Fault?
typed it in, and we flew there.
I've never really seen it from satellite.
Yeah, it's amazing.
This is the one they think that California could break off, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there it is. One part of it. This is interesting, okay? This is Jekyll Island.
Oh, that's local. I mean, that's us.
Yes, it is. It's you. And a lot of people, when they go to the state conference in the summer, they stay at Villas by the Sea. That's Villas by the Sea on the right, okay?
Yeah.
Because Georgia, down on the coast, has such big tides compared to other areas, we have a lot of trouble with beach washing. And if you'll see the tail end of Jekyll Island, do you see how that sand has grown out?
Yes,
That's
I
where
have.
the sand is being deposited
Yes.
at the end of the island. And if you can see up at Villas by the Sea, the satellite image was taken when the tide was in. There's no beach. There's no beach.
The beach is eroding.
Right. You walk over that little boardwalk and there's water. They tried to put in rock. Didn't really work very well, but the sand is washing down to the bottom of the island.
I see that.
And you can see it on a satellite.
Makes a point
Right.
on the island.
Right.
Okay.
We also need to talk about beach nourishment. This is the perfect topic, perfect images to back that up. It's very expensive, but you're talking businesses in Georgia. They do need to bring the beach back.
Okay.
So you can save that part of Jekyll Island.
Yes.
Okay? All right. Apalachicola Bay, Florida.
Good oysters.
Do you know what else is there? Do you know how that is important to us in North Georgia?
I really don't know.
That's the end of the Chattahoochee River.
Okay.
Okay? That's where it dumps out into the ocean. Okay? And fortunately, and this will come up later, fortunately we don't have to live, people don't have to live in that bay because it's pretty much a swamp. It is good for oysters, but we don't have to use the land for anything else. It's a swamp, it's a delta, the soil is being deposited from, Atlanta and where the sediments are coming down, but we don't have to live there. And that will come up later.
Okay.
All right, so that's a delta, that's where it's being deposited. That is a build-up, constructive force.
Okay.
There we go. Famous delta, Nile River Delta.
That is.
You can see it. You don't even have to get close up. You can make out the Nile River Delta.
Or so green.
Right. It's green. It's biblical. We've all heard about it. We'll go look at it. And if you really get close up, the image on the right, it's farmland.
Yeah.
It's farmland. That's why it was so important back then. Okay? The Nile River flows north.
You want land there.
Right. Nile River flows north, deposited all of that sediment, rich farmland, and there's no other rich farmland around.
Okay.
Very evident from Google Earth. Okay? All right. Weathering and erosion. Providence Canyon, Georgia.
Been there. Have you been there?
I have.
It's
I have.
It's crazy. The Little Grand Canyon,
It
right?
is- well, I'm disappointed.
You're why?
I am, because that's not really a canyon.
It
you
makes
know-
you feel like it.
It does, but you know what created this?
Over agriculture or over
Yeah,
watering?
It was bad farming practice.
Yeah.
It's not like the Grand Canyon.
No,
It
it's
was-
not.
No, it's erosion.
But for Georgia folks who can't get out of the state, it's their
Right,
Grand Canyon.
It's great. It's fun. It's a nice park, but it is due to erosion.
It is.
Okay, and that's a little sad. All right. We tell the children that the Appalachian Mountains are older than the Rocky Mountains. And we say, think about it, y'all. The Appalachian Mountains are smoother, and the Rocky Mountains are more rocky.
Yeah,
Think about
that's a good way to
that.
think about it.
And they look at you, and you hope they know what you're talking about. But if you go on Google Earth, you just pull it up and show them. Okay? Image on the left is the Appalachian Mountains.
Okay.
Smoother. Image on the right is the Rocky Mountains. Definitely different.
Yes.
Definitely different. Okay?
So I'm thinking this Google Earth app should be on everybody's iPad.
Yes.
I mean,
Absolutely.
K5, you need it.
Yes.
It needs to be on there.
Look at it.
We could use it. We can use it for literature. We use it for writing. I mean, who knows?
Right.
Okay.
Right. Okay? All right. Then we study that the impact of organisms is also a constructive force on Earth. Okay? These are the cliffs of Dover. Do you know about those?
I've never been there.
I read that the cliffs of Dover to someone in the UK represents the same type of feelings that the Statue of Liberty does to us.
Okay.
It represents their home, it represents freedom. Okay, so it looks like in that image that those are waves coming up to the UK,
Okay.
and it's really the White Cliffs of Dover.
Those are
Okay?
cliffs.
Those are cliffs.
Made of
So-
sand? What are they made of?
No, they're made up of small microscopic sea organisms. That used to be under the ocean, okay? And then through geological shifts, it was lifted up. So you're looking at sea bottom. But let me show you, so I can really show the kids what it looks like.
Yeah.
I took the little man. I took the little man to a park. You see the images on the
I
bottom?
do see that.
That's from the little man. We went to a park, and you can see the cliffs. Do you see the cliffs?
I do.
And they're white because it's sea organisms.
They-
Okay?
Mhm.
Isn't that great?
This is beautiful.
Totally built up from sea life. Okay, so that is an organism. All right. Great Barrier Reef, Australia. Also build up of the land from sea organisms. Okay, because that's coral.
Okay.
Go real close, kids can see it. Found a street scene. Okay. Now, how many of us can go to the Great Barrier Reef?
Most of us
Right.
may never go there.
May never go there, but we can go there with Google
Yeah.
Earth and see. Okay? Ooh, Bora Bora. That's
beautiful.
also used to be a volcano. Okay? As it sinks back down into the ocean, the coral reef grows. So another example of impact of organisms. Okay. Then we have to look at flood
history.
management.
Let's go to
Yeah,
history.
this is history. This is flood management. Okay? New Orleans,
Mhm.
the levees broke. Okay, they would have been okay if it had not been for the levees breaking. So you can see current images. I took these over the weekend. You can still see a lot of the homes have not been built back. Okay.
Okay.
But the image on the right
Mhm.
is a new levee. The cement looks like it's not even quite dry yet. Okay, where they're repairing.
All right.
All right? Okay. Now this is phenomenal. All right. Now remember when I said that I showed you Apalachicola, Florida, and I said we don't have to live there because the United States has so much land that we don't have to go into swampy areas, drain the water out, and then make land because we don't have to do that. But they have to do that in the Netherlands. The only way they can live, and they've done it for years, because you think of the Netherlands, you think of the windmill.
Yeah.
And the windmill was originally designed, it does other things, but it pumps water so they can keep their land dry, so they can have places to live and farm and, okay?
Okay.
So in the 50s, a horrible storm came, and it killed, oh heavens, over 1,000 people. I've got the statistics somewhere, but it killed thousands of people. And they meant this was not going to happen to their people again. So they started this project called the Delta Works. And they are going to keep the water out for their people.
Okay.
Okay? All right, so here's the Netherlands.
Mhm.
All right? Are we good?
We're good.
All right, we're good. Okay, look. This is what they've done.
What did they do?
Okay.
And
you
then we're going to take a break after this. But yeah, tell
Okay,
me.
Because this would be a good stopping. All right. You see the big swinging gates?
I do this. I see those.
Okay. Well, if a storm comes, they can close those gates and keep the water out.
That's some serious
And-
engineering.
Right. It is very serious. They want to do it to New York. The engineers that designed this say that New York needs it too. And then the image on the left is actually a park. Okay, but you can see
These
up
huge
close,
gates
they're-
swing.
the huge
They just
gates,
swing
they're
in.
swing closed.
Wow.
Okay.
Millie, we're gonna.
Yes.
Millie has given us some great ideas for fourth grade science education
No.
with the iPads.
Fifth grade.
Fifth grade, I was
Fifth
way
grade.
off.
It's fifth grade.
Fifth grade science education, and in a way that I can't explain it because she's in the room, she knows the content, and she's going to come back right after lunch and close out her presentation. And we still have more teachers talking about different iPad activities throughout the day. So right now we're going to take a lunch break. I hope you take a lunch break too. Thanks, Millie, for talking with us so
Okay.
far. It's been really good,
All right.
and we'll see you soon. And today we have Millie Edwards. She just finished up a little bit before lunch, but she has a little bit more to talk about, and it's valuable. We don't want to miss out on it, so she's going to close out probably about 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And here we go. Let's go,
Okay.
Millie.
All right. I was talking about the Delta Works in the Netherlands, and the Delta Works was a project that was created due to a storm in 1953. I looked up my data.
Okay.
1,800 people were killed, but 70,000 people had to be evacuated, okay, due to flooding. So they wanted to make sure this never happened again. So what the engineers came up with, you can go look at on Google Earth, okay? This fits the Georgia standards because we have to look at how technology and human intervention can help these destructive forces like a flood, okay?
Okay.
All right, so here's the image of the Netherlands. Probably people would not pick to live there if they hadn't always lived there because it's pretty much just a swamp, okay? So here's one of the things that the Delta Works built. On my lesson plans, I've got that exact word that's I can't even pronounce. But if you put that in your search engine, you go right there to those swinging doors. They're huge if you look at the street sign.
Yeah.
Okay? So if they should have a storm surge, they can close the doors and it protects the lands inland.
Yeah.
Okay?
Wow.
And you got to bring down the little man
So they
to see him.
the little man.
Little man.
And if you just tuned in, the little man is the Street View icon in Google Earth.
Right. And when you get the little man, you know you can go to street scene. And my kids have learned that when you get the little man and you pull him down, you look for this neon purple color. And that's where the Google trucks were. So they light up, and you know you can put Google Man down there, and then you can see street scene. There's some areas in the world, of course, that don't have street scenes because you have to allow a Google truck to come in and film.
And
So,
before Millie goes on, one really cool thing that some of you may not know about is that Google has just released this past year a product called Cardboard, which is a pretty inexpensive way that we can't put an iPad in the device, but it's virtual reality. So you stick an iPod or some other Android type device, and they get to do Street View, not with just Google Earth, but they get to virtually look around the room or look around the street inside that environment and make it appear like there's no, like they're in there, they're there.
oh, so we could add that too.
We can. It'd be
Volcano.
something fun to try.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Okay. So here's one image that they've done, the Delta Works project. Here's another one. Now the other one showed swinging gates. This is a bridge that's actually used for travel. But if you can see, their doors that will drop down and prevent the ocean water from coming inland. That also protects the land. Okay. And I also had to add the image of the windmill because you know Holland and the windmills.
That's how you remember.
Right.
Or Texas.
But those are used for electricity, though. Okay. So Delta Works. They're on PBS. There was a series that I got a lot of this information from. The engineers over there really think that New York should have something similar to protect from a storm surge. So they even show some models of what they would do to New York if they had the money. It's very interesting. Fits Georgia 5th grade standards.
Perfect.
Okay.
All of this 5th grade standards.
Okay. And then I'm at the end, but I love Google Earth so much because you can travel the world. You really can. So my family and I, over the weekend, as I was preparing for this, they just told me. I said, where would you like to go? What would you like to see? What's interesting? And so these are just images from things around the world. There's Santorini, Greece, the American graveyard at Normandy, the Great Pyramids, Hiroshima, a random street scene in Switzerland, Victoria Falls, Anne Frank House, last slide, Berlin Wall.
They went a lot of places.
Yes, I mean, it's just, we went there and there it was. Rock of Gibraltar, most dangerous airport, I guess, landing strip. They actually have to stop the traffic. They stop cars so a plane can land. There it is right there. You can see it. You can see where cars can go over the runway. So things you hear about, you don't just have to say, oh, that's interesting. You can really go look. And look at Dubai, you know, where they're building the islands out. That's an image, okay? Couldn't get a street scene, but I could get a satellite image. So Google Earth is a fabulous, fabulous app for the classroom.
Hey, Millie, can you just tell the audience those 3 different apps you use for this
Okay.
lesson?
We started out using puzzling plates, okay, get a feel for plate tectonics. I also did the Volcanos app and Quake Feed. And Quake Feed was the one that the alarm would go off when you have a somewhat major earthquake, so we can
That's
check
neat.
and
I
see
want
where
that.
it happened in the
I
world.
really want that.
Okay.
So, what you just heard, some of you didn't get this before lunch. Millie Edwards from Mossy Creek Elementary just laid out a really nice, really sweet lesson plan for 5th grade science. And you're really going to want the recording of this one.